The thunder on the right. Call in now, 877-381-3811.
Senator Lindsey Graham, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I think this is the first time you've been on this show.
I was due.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I know I'm not a Hannity fan. Come on now. What?
Good day to be on it.
Yeah, you know what? You ran a hell of a committee today, and I was very proud of you and the Republicans for trying to focus on how the hell did all this get started in the first place. And you know what? They seem to still be focused, the Democrats, on collusion. They're trying to concoct obstruction. I have a couple of questions for you, Senator. You're the chairman of this committee. Why did Mueller and his office write over 200 pages on a matter they had no intention of charging?
Yeah, I really don't understand. I mean, I've never heard a prosecutor say, I don't have enough evidence to prosecute, but I can't exonerate. That's a political statement. You know, I've known Bob Mueller for 20 years. I thought he did a good job of investigating the case, but the obstruction stuff was bizarre. I don't think Barr understood what he was trying to say, too. You either have the case or you don't. And here's what the Democrats are saying. Attempted obstruction of justice with no underlying offense is ridiculous. I mean, it used to be that Trump worked with the Russians. He's a Russian agent. He's a stooge of the Russians. When that narrative fell apart, we're down to obstruction of justice. There is no underlying offense. And the president gave 1.4 million documents to the special counsel. A bunch of people testified voluntarily for the special counsel. President Trump, Mark, did not do anything to impede Mueller.
In fact, you know, Senator, having been Chief of Staff to Attorney General Meese, having been involved in representing him during an Iran-Contra, watching Watergate, I'm old enough to remember all these things. This is the only president in modern times who has not asserted privilege, and he could have asserted it twice, during the investigation and during the report period to Congress, and he didn't do it once.
So here's the narrative. Good point. The Democrats want an outcome. They don't care how they get it. They don't care if Strzok and Page took the law in their own hands. They don't care if they abused the FISA warrant process. As long as you're trying to get Trump, it's a noble endeavor. They don't care that the Mueller report said there was no collusion, no conspiracy. They want to keep going no matter what. Bipartisanship is to be nice to their people and watch us sit on the sidelines, let us sit on the sidelines as they destroy our people. Bill Barr did a hell of a job today. I've never been more proud of it.
You've been in the Senate how long now?
20 years. I've never seen anything like it. I mean,
hold on now. That's what I want to ask you. I mean, I'm you know, we're on the sidelines watching this thing. I watched the Kavanaugh hearings. I watched this. So what the hell's going on here?
You know, I almost said it. I said, listen, guys. During, you know, Holder came, Lynch came. Nothing was like this. I mean, there, you know, this a character assassination against the Attorney General, trying to destroy Brett Kavanaugh's life. I've known Brett for 20 years. I voted for Sotomayor and Kagan. I thought they were qualified. I could understand why a conservative would pick them, but it used to not be this way. Trump has created a new standard for Democrats. As long as you're trying to get him, nothing else really matters. And I'm sitting there today thinking, what has happened to the United States Senate?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. You look over there across the way at the United States House of Representatives, and you can see what one-party control does over there. I want to ask you about this. All these subpoenas for bank records on a president of the United States, all these subpoenas for tax records, all these subpoenas for communications with your own accountant. Senator, you've been there a while. I don't see Congress has any authority to be digging into somebody's personal information like this without any real oversight basis.
Well, so that's the point. Our job is to oversee the executive branch. Their job is to destroy Trump, and they're going to use the tools of power to do that. They're going to destroy all things Trump. They're going to do what they did to Kavanaugh. They're going to accuse Bill Barr of being unethical when all he did was tell you what was in Mueller's report. You can read it for yourself. It's not enough to let Mueller do his job. It's not enough to give him the space to do his job. You got to sit there and watch as they try to destroy Trump in the process, the House. The House is not performing oversight. This is political revenge. There's nothing they're doing that's providing oversight to the executive branch. They're out to get Trump because they don't want him to be president, and I don't think they believe they can't beat him based on policy, so they're going to try to ruin the guy's life.
Let's circle back a second. As I was watching this hearing, and I have to be honest with you, it was tough watching the senator from Hawaii. I mean, that was tough, and I felt
but I think it says more about her than it does Bill Barr, so that's why I let it go.
Well, you know what though, you did deal with it. I mean, you can't cut them off completely.
I did at the end. I said, okay, enough already. If you got a question, ask it. But you slandered the man from the top to bottom. He is a public servant. He's been around for a long time. Bush 41 Attorney General. He didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. The point is that there's nothing in the Mueller report they can hang their hat on. Mueller exonerated the president in terms of working with the Russians. He didn't do it. The obstruction of justice theory, to me, is absurd, and that's why they didn't proceed on it.
But when I'm looking at this, and the attacks on Barr, do you have the report, Senator? You have the report. The country has the report. Virtually none of it's redacted. He didn't have to give the report to anybody. Nobody claimed privilege. And now we're talking about letters. These are pseudo events. They're not events. They're just issues that are used to try and create hysteria.
I got to be on your show more because you nailed it. This letter, here's what I think happened. Mueller gives his report to Barr. Instead of waiting forever, Barr releases a summary of the main conclusions. You know, Mueller's getting beat up because he didn't tag Trump. His people get nervous. Well, you need to tell them the nuances of obstruction. He never suggested that Barr misled the public about his conclusions on obstruction and conspiracy. So this is much to do about nothing. The summaries that Mueller wanted the public to see are actually in the report. This report is amazingly transparent.
There wouldn't even be a volume 2 if the President of the United States had said, no, you know what, you don't get to talk to my people and we're not giving you any documents. There would be no volume 2.
That's probably what I would have told him to do, because what Nadler's doing is not oversight of the executive branch. They're just trying to destroy Trump. And, you know, if you see the polling here, once it was pretty clear to everybody that there was no conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia, everybody's willing to move on. Only the hardest of the hard want to keep doing this. And the media's got a real black eye here. I mean, you got Washington Post, you got MSNBC, CNN, all these outlets were reporting breathlessly about the next shoe to drop regarding Trump and Russia, and it all turned out to be nothing.
And yet, Senator, the media is not circumspect. The media doesn't police itself. It just keeps going on and on, doesn't it?
It does, and I think, Mark, what's driven here is it's just an insane desire to turn everything Trump does into bad. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they clearly have an agenda when it comes to President Trump. And nobody seems to care, other than me and you and a few other Republicans, that the people investigating Hillary Clinton hated Trump's guts, gave her a pass, got a FISA warrant against an American citizen based on a bunch of garbage that probably came from Russia. Obstruction of justice classic is taking a hammered phone and bleaching a server so nobody can read the emails. That happened on their side, and not one Democrat seems to care.
No, but it's good that you're chairing that committee, and you're focused like a laser on this, and I thought it was very, very good to remind the American people about, and I'll never understand how Mr. Mueller can expand his investigation into tax fraud, wire fraud, prostitutes in Manhattan, 13 countries, and somehow he missed this entire other side of the matter.
Well, I think, again, that's a good point. I mean, 2.5 years, 2 years plus, $25 million, 40 FBI agents, 500 witnesses interviewed, on and on and on, 440-page report, and they didn't get the answer they wanted, so it will never be enough. The other side basically got away with political manipulation beyond belief. The people running the Clinton email investigation wanted Trump to lose and Clinton to win. That's why they didn't indict her, because you can't indict her and you know, and Trump lose. So bottom line is we're going to look at the other stuff for the good of the country, make sure it never happens again. But Bill Barr acquitted himself well. Mr. Mueller did a good job for the country. And we're moving on to my Democratic colleagues. Why don't you want to call them again and Mueller? I've heard all I want to hear. Read the report for yourself. We're not going to retry the case. We're moving on.
Senator, we appreciate it, and we'll talk again sometime.
We'll do it. Thanks.
All right. Take care of yourself. I thought he ran a very good hearing today. Didn't you, Rich? You're very good, and he had some very nasty people there, particularly this one from Hawaii. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.